Surprise, surprise, says Rolling Stone magazine. Less than 3 days after Marvel Studios released the first trailer for the upcoming film The Marvels, the film and its star Brie Larson are already facing a backlash from the misogynistic side of the Marvel fandom. Imagine being a loser who has no life, spend years releasing bile every time Brie Larson or Captain Marvel is mentioned, doing multi-accounts to convince fans not to see it based on tears, and that with a simple teaser months after the premiere The Marvels bursts the internet, becomes a trend in all social networks. The groups do not stop talking about it above Spiderman or Guardians, and not to mention the Blue Beetle Lord. Those people need therapy, but that's another topic. The trailer for The Marvels is a resounding success. In 4 days of being released, it already has more than 16 million views, surpassing in a few days trailers of other films also highly anticipated, which had been there for months. The like ratio is also higher than with other trailers. Carol, Monica and Kamala have completely taken over the internet, conquered by the sympathy of Iman Vellani, the charm of Teyonah Parris, and the charisma and overwhelming beauty of Brie Larson. Rolling Stone magazine emphasizes the absurd manipulation by misogynistic groups attacking the Marvels. But on YouTube, the magazine claims, the official Marvel Studios page has received more than 300,000 dislikes and thousands of copy and paste comments. A popular way to send unwanted content and drown out positive responses by flooding comment sections with similar messages. By comparison, Morbius, a superhero movie ridiculed by critics and audiences alike, has only been rejected on YouTube 11,000 times since its trailer was posted a year ago. Then Rolling Stone quotes some of the comments that can be found there, demonstrating how the haters of Captain Marvel are not fans of anything, but a cult of extremists. The feminist captain and the stone of patriarchy, reads a commentary in The Marvels. What a piece of Marvel Disney has gone crazy once again, says another of these crackpots, never mentioning Kevin Feige or Bob Iger, the white guys who would be behind Disney's woke agenda. It seems like Disney is willing to decimate and destroy anything we remember about Marvel Comics just to push its narrative, insists one of these lunatics without taking his pill. It is important to remember that the overwhelming majority of these reactions do not correspond to organic users, but to robotic accounts. Let's remember how 50,000 bot accounts were sent to give negative reviews to Captain Marvel of 2019 on the site Rotten Tomatoes, during the opening night. In an early morning, Captain Marvel had more reviews than Infinity War, which had already been a year on the billboard. However, bots do not go to the cinema, and Captain Marvel is one of the most successful films in history. A 2019 review by Rolling Stone also noted that Inkells were infuriated by Larson's press tour, where he pushed for greater female inclusion in male-dominated superhero films. So, seeing Larson back on the big screen, undeterred, has apparently pressed a few buttons. Add in the star power of Parris and Vellani, whose characters express how their Black and Pakistani-American identities intertwine with their superhero lives, and The Marvels was a less than tasty target of Marvel fans from the moment it was announced. Whiny pushback hasn't stopped some fans from looking forward to Larson's next film. The Marvels teaser trailer has been viewed 13 million times and is currently the second trending video on YouTube. Maybe that will give MCU fans something more concrete to cry about. CQ magazine also gives its opinion on this mob of crackpots manipulated by YouTube clickbait, where hatred of Brie Larson and Captain Marvel is fed through inventions, counterfeiting and manipulation. Like clockwork, misogynistic Marvel fans, more enthusiastic about their hatred of one genre than the comic book brand they love so much, took to the internet to express their distaste for the unreleased film. Their comments section is flooded with unfunny sexist comments, as well as strange and equally unfunny references to other films. Captain Marvel was the first film starring a woman in the MCU since the franchise's launch in 2008 with Iron Man, the magazine insists. Its star, Larson, became a punching bag during the film's press tour simply for pointing out the importance of inclusion. The trolling of Captain Marvel was so bad that it forced Rotten Tomatoes to change its policy. The site removed the percentage feature of I want to see and disabled comments before a movie's release. Captain Marvel's audience score is currently at 45% compared to its critical score of 79%. Last summer, Ms. Marvel, the Disney show featuring Vellani's Kamala Khan, sparked anger for both its gender and its Muslim heritage, becoming the lowest-rated MCU show on IMDb. Marvel's other female-led show from last year, She-Hulk, Attorney-at-Law, received a similar backlash. Even so, Captain Marvel grossed more than $1 billion internationally, making it the fifth highest-grossing film of 2019. Ms. Marvel received praise from critics and the general public, largely for the charismatic newcomer Villani. The MCU is far from its golden age of 2010, but The Marvels will most likely be one of the highest-grossing films of the year after it hits theaters on November 10th. Bad pre-reviews for a movie that doesn't open for 7 months are unlikely to convince anyone to skip it, unless they already hate women in comic book movies. That the attack on Captain Marvel is inspired by misogyny is obvious. All the attacks focus on the actress and the character, never mentioning Kevin Feige, her executive producer, who was primarily responsible for the whole concept. Brie Larson didn't write, she didn't produce, she didn't direct, that was the responsibilities of people Feige hired. The campaign has created the repudiation and disgust of fans who are not part of this true dry hate, and makes them sympathize with the film. It's ironic that this absurd tantrum has only contributed to making the film more popular in both views and conversation. These guys are definitely not very smart. Let us know your feedback. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This was Brianna for Brie Larson Worldwide. Keep loving Brie.